these are the challenges that I'm here for. Like, this is the I can do, not paddleboard, picking heavy up and moving it and walking around. That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Geek Up. Today we're talking the finale of Survive the Raft. We finally made it.
That's right. They made it. The Acali II is done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a typical 1 hour episode. Nothing really special here.
That kind of like, whenever he talked about it in the beginning, he's like, hey, you're going to have several freaking things you got to do here. And I was like, damn, this must have got to be more than 1 hour if they have several. And then there really wasn't several.
And it's like, rest up. Eat, do what you need to do, and boy, do they eat.
Oh, yeah, dude. I got to say, that is one thing I freaking problem I have with this show.
The one problem you have
that is one of the problems, is they do not go hungry in this show whatsoever. I mean, they eat like champs in this show.
They have full plates of food
crap, man.
when they show it, so they're not starving.
There is no hardship, man.
Not really sure what they're
surviving.
actually surviving, but each other, yeah.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and they're on day 17, so it's not like they've been on that thing for a real long time. I mean, 17 days is a lot to be in one small raft, but compared to some other shows.
Oh, yeah. And especially, like I said, with all that damn food and everything. And then, of course, he gets on there. He's like, oh, you guys have been out here together for weeks. And it's like, 2 weeks. I guess you could say weeks because there's two of them. It's like, come on, man.
Weeks.
It's like, And I tell you what I really freaking hate, man. I hate when Nate keeps talking about the original Acali. Oh, they did this and X, Y, did this. Has nothing to do with the original Acali, not even close. And they keep making the Acali, the original Acali, like it was all kind of crazy drama when there really wasn't. And it's just like, dude, just let go
They
of
just
that
tried
stuff.
to create drama for him, which is what I think the show's tried. I think the show has been adapted throughout its journey. I think they realized it wasn't going the way they thought it was going to go, so then they started throwing some things in there.
That would be interesting to know, but yeah, we say this every time, but there's some things they probably need to change to make it a little bit better for next time. And I'm over that experiment thing coming into play with the quotes and all the other kind of stuff. So
if we get a season 2, can we just refer to Acali this season as Acali 1?
Right.
But Jimmy ain't happy with Summer. Says she's two-faced.
That's right.
That's the name of the episode, actually. So, which is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure it rises to that level.
Now, and maybe it does. We just didn't get to see it in editing, right? I mean, from what we saw, we really didn't see anything. I mean, Summer's wishy-washy, definitely.
I don't think she's two-faced. I mean, she might say agree with you, but honestly,
she's
all these people are like that.
She's just a very agreeable person.
Exactly.
She's going to agree with whoever
everybody says.
Yeah.
And, and from what the editing showed us, it didn't show us enough for anybody to say, oh, she's two-faced. Yeah, for sure. I mean, who knows what we didn't see behind the scenes, but
she's she doesn't like to rock the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just so tired of men telling me how I should think, what I should say, when I should do things. Honestly, I would keep the girls and Elliot.
And I will say, now Tara, I'm getting tired of men telling me what to do. And then this whole episode was freaking Tara telling everybody what to do. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and Jimmy and Garrett are doing their best to like keep their mouths shut.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah, they are.
Probably for good reason, actually. But because they get their first bounty and they have to meet Nate on land in an hour. And they kind of have multiple ways they can get there. But for some strange reason, they have a boat that is stable and everything, but they don't put Jimmy in it.
Right. And it's like, you know what? Let's freaking throw Jimmy to the sharks here and potentially risk $25K for our whole group. Just to freaking make him fail on this damn paddleboard. But we know damn well he ain't going to make it on a paddleboard.
Now, I will say they didn't initially have him on the paddleboard. Right. So maybe they thought, like, this ain't the paddleboard. He'll be fine on this. But he's pretty weak, so I don't understand why you wouldn't put him on the most stable
Just put him on the boat.
Exactly.
Just put him on the boat.
But guess who was on the boat doing absolutely nothing? Tara. She was sitting there, just kick back, freaking, while freaking Elliot and damn Russell are doing all the work.
Well, she's got to boss people around.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, and suggest that, hey, I can still see them in the back. They're not moving very fast. We should vote them out.
Vote them off, Oh, yeah.
And Jimmy and Garrett are struggling on this paddleboard because, that's Jimmy's thing, struggling on the paddleboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and we never got to see Garrett, really, but he's not doing too well with it either.
Right. Well, and I think he's not doing too well because Jimmy's not doing well.
I don't know. Like, Garrett fell off, looked like he fell off on his own accord.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you got 3 of these women on this paddleboard, like, looking at these guys struggling, and they're just like,
no problem.
Also, they're the three smallest women who probably together weigh less than what Jimmy and
definitely
Garrett weigh.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's one in the middle, like they're balancing each other out in a way, and they're good at paddleboarding. So
Elliot's good at paddleboarding, so I don't know why he wasn't on there with
exactly.
like Jimmy or whatever. So, I mean, maybe Jimmy and Garrett wanted to stick together.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think they just freaking threw him on that and said, "Hey, you know, we're just gonna make these two dudes fail, so we can blow
obviously, because I don't understand why they would stick those two together anyway. Because they think that they're conspirating. So like, don't put them in a chance.
But the girls are looking at him, going, "These two are out. First chance we get."
Yep.
So, and everyone's like shaking their head, like, "Yep."
And Tara's like, "I want to get rid of all the guys and just be the girls and Elliot here."
Yeah.
So, but they actually make it on time. So despite, them struggling, they get there. I mean, with seconds
to spare.
But, they get there.
But as they're running up to the safe or to wherever they're...
Yeah, the safe.
Yeah. Jimmy's like the first person there. Like Elliot runs with the bounty, but like then Jimmy's the first person. So since he like struggled in the back, he still got to the beach and ran up there before anybody else.
Now, I don't know if they waited on him or not, but once the first boat hit the beach.
Well, I think Maddie helped pull him in actually.
Yeah. But they earned $25K for the pop.
Yeah.
And now they have to do their second bounty, which is transport the safe across the island in another hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the safe weighs 350 pounds. That's about 50 pounds ish per person.
Yeah.
There's 8 of them. Not too bad. And they got to first put this thing together to be able to carry it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a disaster.
And they're doing the usual thing where they try and put 2 people in charge. People talk over each other anyway. But like Jimmy and Garrett are being pretty quiet during all this.
They were, yeah. But it doesn't matter. Like as soon as anybody else says anything, here comes Tara. I think the problem is everybody's talking over each other. You need to stop.
I love how Russ is always on the outskirts and he's just like, let them do their thing, guys. We don't want to be involved.
That's right.
So
they got a system. It's fine.
But it's funny because for somebody who doesn't like to be told what to do, Tara sure as hell loves telling everybody else what to do. So
yeah,
that's her role.
Right.
She likes to be the teller, not to be told.
And they have to take several breaks. And I got to say, like, yeah, I could see where this could be a problem. Someone's probably not carrying their weight. These people are various sizes. So that always, but I don't know if they're actually game planning based on size and strength.
No, they weren't.
Because they have 2 women in the front.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like they have any strong people in the front to balance out strong people in the back.
Exactly. That was an issue.
You see Summer at the beginning kind of lift it and put
Summer
her
was
part
carrying
on her
it the
shoulder.
right way. They should have carried
And
that shit on their
then
shoulders. It'd been a lot easier.
Toward the end, as they were going up at the end, Tara was in the back doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they all should have
it on their shoulders.
I mean, if you could put it on your shoulders, that spreads the weight out more. So you're not just using your arms, so using your whole body, which would help. But it could be challenging with everyone's size. But the people that can should definitely have it on their shoulders.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, it did look challenging because they were going through like the forest and stuff like that, and that seemed to be problematic. Some people were getting attacked by thorns.
Yeah.
So,
it was a very, very large, or what was a vicious thorn or something.
Well, I love how Maddie finally just spoke up. She's like, Merissa, you're complaining about everything, just freaking the thorns, this and that. Just fucking knock it off and let's get this thing out of here, you know?
I'm tired of like just continuing to drop it because there's a thorn or there's a this or there's a this. Like we just need to keep going.
Someone suggested, I saw it somewhere, they suggested that they should have like all put it on their shoulders and then instead of taking breaks where they stop, because they would have it so distributed, they would like switch out and cycle to the back or something. So
maybe.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than having to put it down and then pick it back up again.
Yeah, I mean, the people in the middle normally can slack off a little bit because you're on the end, you have to carry it.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, and I don't understand why they didn't swap out like one of the guys maybe that could have handled the thorns a little bit better and not been bothered by it quite as much.
Without her complaining, they should just threw one of the dudes up front and said, fine, Merissa, get in the back.
Yeah, and Garrett was kind of like, man, I don't want to take any breaks. What's up with this? These people are weak.
Yeah, so these women ain't going to the gym.
And it was and it was funny because they were talking about voting, off Jimmy and Garrett, but they were probably 2 of the strongest guys to help for this kind of thing. So
yeah, and that's when they were like, so when they finally meet Nate at the 3/4 of the way point, and then they're like, damn, we're glad we didn't vote these 2 dudes off earlier. You're screwed.
Now, I did like this because Nate interrupts them, say, hey, you guys are going to vote to see who your top 2 is and who your bottom person is. The top 2 are safe. They're guaranteed to get the money. The bottom person's up for elimination.
Mm-hmm.
So they all do their little vote, rank everyone 1 through 8.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
No, it was cool.
And I mean, so who would have been your top 2?
So I think it's kind of dumb that they allowed them to vote themselves too. It should have just been 7 on there, and you can't vote for yourself, obviously. But I think they did a good job with the top ones. I'd have definitely gone with Elliot and Maddie or Summer. Those 3 would have been.
Yeah, those 3 I think are the obvious ones. I definitely wouldn't have put Tara or Russell in there, and no one really likes Jimmy or Garrett, so no one's surprised that those 2 weren't in the top.
Now,
and Marissa.
Now here's
Marissa.
Now here's a game plan that Garrett and freaking Jimmy could have said. Garrett and Jimmy could have said, you know what, guys? You vote us as your top 2, or we're not going to help you carry anymore, and you can carry that shit yourselves. And, they could have totally came out and done that, and that'd have kind of thrown some chaos in order, I think.
I would have loved that, because if they presented that to me, they would have been the first 2 to go.
Yeah.
Because I think you can carry this safe with 6 people. Now, I don't think you'll get there on time. You'll definitely be behind time.
Get there on time.
But I just eliminated like 1/8, 1/4 of the
so
pot.
I lose this bounty.
I would have been happy
now
if someone
split
said
their bounty.
But it would have taken them a hell of a lot longer to get that safe there.
Yeah.
And they were pretty winded by the end.
Oh, yeah. Especially going up that hill at the end.
And then they determine who's last. And of course, it's not really much of a surprise. It's Jimmy.
Yeah.
And he takes the high road here.
He did.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great speech, but he didn't out himself either. So.
Right, no.
Yeah.
No, he took the high road, said, hey, it's been a good time. I appreciate it. I kind of understand why you guys voted the way you did. And So
So he leaves it up to them. And then I don't really like how they came to the conclusion here where they just said, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you want to eliminate him.
Here's the problem with that. That definitely influences other people, because you could see as soon as he asked that, everyone's looking around.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, only one person.
Well, Marissa was just like, boop.
Yeah.
She was hoping to influence others. And they even asked Tara, and she's like, I would have gone with the group.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows, if there was 4, I would have been the 5th. But since I only saw one hand up,
that's been
I'm
the
not doing it.
mentality pretty much through all of it, right? Where they haven't been writing names down, at the ballot. I didn't think we had all the votes. They wanted to do something, but they didn't think they had the group mentality behind it.
That's where I think this show's a little rigged, because the producers on the show probably know if you have to raise your hand and they can kind of see and know what's going on, they're not likely to do it.
Exactly.
Except for
if it's
Marissa.
done in secrecy, they might have done it.
Right, exactly.
But Marissa had no shame. He wasn't even done counting down, and her hand was right up there.
And this might look really bad on Marissa, but she's just sticking to the plan that everyone agreed to.
Exactly.
Yep. And she made eye contact with him before, too. She's like, all right, this is it. This is our chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And technically, they would have only voted off Jimmy at that point, and they would have still had Garrett's muscles, so... Mm-hmm. And she's
so
like,
maybe she was
thanks
thinking
for
that.
sticking me out on this island by myself.
Right.
Yeah, this is the final stretch, and I don't think anyone was wanting to take too many risks here.
No, I think they were all like, we need all the help we can get right now.
Yeah, and I think they knew how challenging that was, and they were just like, I'm not willing to drop anyone and carry the weight of this.
Exactly.
And Jimmy didn't take it too well.
If there was a machete and a baby kitten, I would have chopped its head off right in front of her and just been like, hey, how about this?
He took it well publicly, but to the camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he made that cat comment, and that was over the line.
Jimmy,
that was over the line.
Have you not seen Don't Fuck with Cats? You can't.
I'm sure he was joking, but
the internet sleuths will come after you, man.
I know.
Probably not the best choice of words.
Right.
No.
Right.
You've been cutting heads off of fish this whole time. You couldn't have used a fish.
Yeah, you could have used fish.
Yeah,
That's true.
can't get behind you on that one, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So. But I know he was obviously frustrated at Marissa and saw that as betrayal, and
of course.
So, which is kind of interesting, because then it rolls up. They end up, not getting there in time, but they're like 5 minutes behind.
Yeah,
or
they
something
lost
like
5K
that.
and that was it.
Yeah. So, and this gets interesting, because he's like, all right, one more bounty challenge, but it's a mental one, and the 2 people are safe. They're fine, but everyone gets to vote to scratch someone off. And if one person gets a scratch out, then they don't get any money. And even the 2 people who are guaranteed can write people's names, scratch them out.
So they could have scratched out everybody but themselves.
Now, here's where editing pisses me off again, because damn well that Russell jumped up and spoke, all right, everybody, we made it here together. We need to finish strong and finish together. Damn well that conversation happened.
Sure, why didn't they show that?
They didn't show it to us, and they no, not for this last one. They ain't going to show
well,
that
we
crap.
don't. You're just speculating, because the show could also said no conversations.
Yeah, they could have
cut that out as well.
I'd put money. I'd put that whole freaking bounty on the fact that they probably talked about it and said, all right, guys, we're not going to vote for each other.
Billy, you don't have that bounty to bet.
I know.
That's just make-believe money. But
It is make-believe money, but I would put it out there.
But, and I thought this was really interesting, especially like one person put your name down, you're done. And then we just saw what happened with Jimmy and Merissa. So, both of
You
them
saw
have
their
to be
faces.
Exactly. And that's
Marissa
why.
was like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
And that's why I'm saying that conversation had to have happened. Because otherwise, Merissa and Jimmy both be like, scratching each other.
And
out
unlike
crazy.
the other one, this one is kind of done semi-secret. I mean, they do reveal the results, but at least you are, it's up to you to decide from what they show.
And
from what they
every
show.
other ballot vote that they've revealed has all been anonymous. But this one, he revealed who did
said
what.
it. Yeah.
So you think there's going to be a lot of drama and all this stuff. And of course they choose Jimmy last because he's probably the most likely to write someone's name down or scratch him out or whatever. But surprisingly, no one's name gets scratched out. What do you think of that, Bill?
Well, especially when, from the get-go, Jimmy and Garrett were both flat out said, I'm here for the money, here to get as many people as I can. This money's going to be good for me and my family. And then at the end, they just go with the flow and, everybody hunky-dory and everybody gets 25, 27, 28.
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya. And Garrett was like, I don't give a shit about this kumbaya.
I'm here for the money.
I'm here for the money, Dad. Yeah, and then he's just like, nah.
But
cool,
he's
whatever.
kumbaya at the end.
I am not as surprised at Jimmy not scratching as I am at Garrett not scratching something.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy, even though he's been kind of crapped on by a couple of them, he's been there longer with them. He's kind of bonded with a couple of them, and he's messed around with them and had fun with them. And Garrett has no bond with any of these people.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm surprised Garrett, since he keeps saying he's just there for the money, and he didn't.
Merissa doesn't write anyone out. What no one does, but that's kind of surprising. Unless I do wonder if any kind of conversation.
There was some conversation. There had to be.
I wonder.
I'm guaranteed.
But what you guaranteed,
I
guaranteed
that Russell is the one that determined it, and I feel like if that was the case, they would have shown us that.
I don't think so. Not for this one. Not for that finale. They're not going to show us that kind of conversation.
We need the B-roll footage.
Now, I guess it was kind of cool. They both just, had all this teamwork, and they all were winded at the end of this, so maybe that changed their mindset. And let's go out on a high note. Everyone's happy together. No one's bitter or anything else.
They went through this really hard thing together. They trauma bonded. So now it's they're in this
There's something to
victorious, I can't hurt you. You helped me get here.
Even though you just raised your hand.
And it would be messed
30 minutes ago, you just raised your hand on me.
That person you just voted out helped you earn your money too.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Well, I get Matt. So you had the two top people who were guaranteed, Elliot and Maddie, and I knew Maddie.
Oh, Maddie.
I was pretty sure Elliot wouldn't do it, but I knew Maddie wouldn't because you got to remember in the food challenge.
Yeah, but she really sucked on the
it.
food thing though. Maybe if she was like, I'm eating all the food, did my part.
Right.
Yeah, but again, she didn't earn this on her own either. Yeah. So she's one of those that, if I didn't earn it, and she knows that these other people actually went through this whole thing and earned their.
Yeah, I had no doubt. I had no doubt with her.
I will tell you, they all got $27,000. That Apple thing was $50,000. So
and after Uncle Sam,
did you wish you took
no
the
doubt.
Apple?
Well, after Uncle Sam takes his cut of that freaking $28K, it's like how much they be left with.
Billy, you only said it's 2 weeks, so it's not a bad paycheck for 2 weeks.
That's
worth
true.
Of work.
That is true.
2.5 weeks.
Not
worth
bad.
Of work
Not bad at all. So, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make them rich, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it's not survivor money.
No, but that's not a bad chunk of change for 2
but
weeks.
they made friends for life.
No,
maybe. Maybe. I mean, they have shared experience.
They have shared experience. They learned things, right?
So are you happy with this ending? You like seeing Kumbaya, or did you wish there was some drama in there?
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where, again, I really think that there had to have been discussion beforehand where they all agreed to it, because if there was no discussion and they all literally just went and sat down and voted. There's no way in hell that Jimmy and freaking Merissa aren't freaking scratching each other's names
let's
off.
say they did do that. Let's say that's exactly what happened, Billy.
But it's not.
You don't know that. Most likely you're wrong.
And Billy gets along.
Most likely I'm right on
Most likely you're wrong.
Most likely I'm right that they had conversation. Ashley agreed with me. She said they probably had conversation.
She doesn't know anything either.
I don't know anything.
They probably had a conversation.
Here's the deal. This Kumbaya ending is nice and warm-hearted and everything, but it doesn't make for good television.
That's true.
So,
here's the thing.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
I think a lot of people are happy with the way this ending, but They needed more drama early on if
Exactly.
someone was going to do something like that at the end of this. It
Yeah.
just doesn't make a whole lot of sense that now someone's like, my turn
Well,
to
and
do
that
this.
was the whole
Yeah.
point, right? I think they expected a lot of the backstabbing drama to happen, and I mean, it did. I mean,
So this
to an
ends
extent.
just like the real world experiment. Everyone is good with each other.
Yeah. Except if you think about it, the backstab, it had nothing to do with the bounty. The backstabbing and drama happened to do with their differences.
Yeah.
And didn't have to do with the challenges because nobody got eliminated because they
Well,
sucked at a challenge.
Well, we've said this a million times. The challenges are all pretty damn easy for the most part, right? They could
Yeah.
have made them a lot more difficult. And like I said, they kept these people well fed. They weren't going into these challenges hungry
Yeah.
and starving and lacking sleep and all that crap. Because they had pretty decent places to sleep. They had good food. So, and I mean, it was too easy.
They need to up the game for season 2 if there is going to be a season 2.
Yeah, no doubt.
For sure. But
I agree with that 100%.
I like the way it ended. I just need to see something different next time,
Yeah.
though.
No, they definitely
You can
need
do
to step
this
the game with
once,
challenges.
but next time there better be some drama and backstabbing and stuff like that to make it interesting. You can't run this thing back again.
and the thing, and you got to make the challenges harder to make people actually show what their strengths and weaknesses are. Because this one, we didn't tell what anybody's strengths and weaknesses were because challenges are pretty damn easy, right?
I
So-
would have liked to. So there's 8 of them at the end here.
Yeah.
I would have liked for him to say at this point only 4 of you can take money,
That'd be
like
cool.
half of it.
Yeah.
Like who of the 8
Make
of
them make
you,
hard decisions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of the 8 of you who just went through this entire process and put your blood, sweat, and tears into this,
Mhm.
you got to vote 4 people off. Like, how
Yeah.
you gonna do
Maybe
that?
introduce 2 rafts and have them compete. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah, some
different.
kind of challenge
Yeah.
at the end, right?
Something
Yeah.
different. So
That'd have been cool.
swapping people. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, for a
But
season.
it was a real mind game to say,
Yeah.
right?
I like the way it ended
scratch
with
the names
that.
out,
With
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, if
Like the
they're gonna
concept
if
of
they're
that.
gonna have season 2, man, they definitely need to add some more spice to it, make it more difficult for sure.
Yeah,
Well, you
starve
gotta
these
try
guys.
season 2 to see if it ends the exact opposite way, where all the names get scratched out
Right.
but the last 2.
Right.
Yeah.
If it doesn't end that way, then you know it's like everybody's gonna be kumbaya to the end. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Survive
That's it.
the Raft.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
watch a second season?
Sure.
I'd watch the second season in hopes that they'd make some changes.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, I
Definitely.
agree with that.
yeah. Because if they made a second season and it turned out just like this one, they didn't make the challenges harder and all that, then after that, I'd be like, okay, I'm done
Yeah.
with the show.
Yeah, I'd probably bow out midway through that. But
Right, exactly. Yeah. But it was definitely interesting. You know, I tell you what, with all the reality TV we see lately and like all the different shows we watch, this is definitely something new and interesting. So it's kind of cool. Like, oh, you know, a little refreshing, right? A little refreshing to have something a little different to watch now. So, you know, but again, they need to change it next season.
Yep.
alrighty.
Well, there you have it, folks. You know, we know there's been a lot of crazy conversation on the Survive the Raft fans page that we've seen.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of
hatred-
drama there. There's
a
more
lot of-
drama on the
more
page.
drama on the
than
page,
the
yeah.
show.
So please tell us what you thought about this show, or you know, you're looking forward to a season 2. What should they have done different in this season? And as always, hit that like, subscribe. We will check you guys on our next review.
Later.
See ya.